Stop wasting your money on sports card packs. I know that sounds crazy, but if you're ripping packs hoping to make money, you are playing a losing game. The best pack to buy for profit is none. Now, I'm about to prove to you why. Plus, I'll actually show you what works to make money in this hobby. I also dropped a free PDF down below in the description that walks you through this whole thing step by step. Let's get into it. So let's break down some simple math when it comes to opening up sports card packs and boxes. I'm going to take 2025 Topps Chrome Baseball, okay? Topps actually released the odds of pulling a Superfractor card. So there is a Superfractor in one in every 28,345 packs, okay? Now, a Superfractor card could be, of a great player, of an okay player, but let's be really conservative. Let's say the average Superfractor is worth $10,000. It is not. It's not even close to that. It's probably a few thousand, if that. But let's say the average Superfractor is worth $10,000. If you do the math and you do 10,000 divided by 28,345, that means the expected value per pack is 35 cents per pack, okay? And even at $100,000, if every Superfractor was worth $100,000, okay, and you divide that by 28,345, that means each pack should be worth $3.53. So that's all that means. Each pack should be worth $3.53. Now, what is the average price of a pack of cards for Topps Chrome Baseball right now? About $12 to $13. And going back to the $10,000 example, if the average Superfractor is worth $10,000, which it's not, but if it is, that means the average pack should be priced at about 35 cents. This isn't perfect math by any stretch of the imagination because there's other cards you could pull. Of course, a pack is worth $12 to $13, not 35 cents, right? And why is this? Because I want you to think about what you're doing when you open up a pack of cards or a box of cards, right? You're paying for the product, right? Topps, when they produce cards, they have to pay for the product. What that means is the player licensing, right? They have to shell out billions of dollars to the NFL, to the NBA, to have the license or the rights to actually put these players in their products with the logos. You have to pay for printing materials, right? There's also quality control. That's just a little bit of product. Also, you have to pay for overhead for the Topps company, right? So this is salaries, right? They have $50,000 workers all the way up to people making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year. Their payroll is tens of millions of dollars a year at least, and you have to pay for that. How else are they supposed to make a profit? Also, you have to pay for insurance and warehouses, right? These Topps, these huge factories that produce these cars, legal marketing, right? How much of that marketing do you see of Topps promoting their products? Of course, you see a lot of it. You have to pay for all that, right? That's all factored into the price. That's how Topps makes money, all right? You also have to pay for distribution margins. So when Topps creates cards, they don't just sell all of their packs of cards right to the consumer. They give it to distributors, and these distributors have to make a buck, right? And then the distributors give it to local card shops and other people that really distribute everything and breakers and stuff. So you have to pay for all these levels of people that must make a profit, okay? And then once your local card shop has a pack of cards, well, they need to make money, right? They got to pay for rent. They have some staff, utility. There's inventory risk, right? Some things sit on the shelf for long periods of time. They don't actually make money. So you have to pay for all these level of profits that every person at each level has to make, plus all the huge expenses that Topps must have in order to produce these cards. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Topps. That's just business. But I want you to be aware of where you're actually putting your money when you open up a pack of cards. And I want to go into this, the advertising when it comes to packs or breakers. Once again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these people, but I just want you to know it's gambling, right? Because what Topps or a breaker or a repack product will do is they will showcase the top cards in the product, right? Just like the lotto, right? The government, when they advertise the lotto, they say, hey, the jackpot's $1 billion, but the odds of you hitting that, right, are far, far less than the expected value, right? And when Topps shows you 2025 Topps Chrome Baseball, and they're highlighting the best possible card to pull that's worth $80,000 or $100,000 of XYZ player, or a breaker's doing the same thing, what they're not telling you is it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in opened up packs to finally hit that card. And you must understand this. And this is why I always think it's funny that people who open up cases and boxes will say that my advertising is scammy or whatever. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every single student that buys my program makes money, right? It's just not the reality of life. I actually strive towards helping people make money, as opposed to these breakers and packs and boxes and tops and this and that. They are essentially using deceptive advertising. They're basically hanging a donut in front of your head, but they're not telling you the actual math, right? Just like Hard Rock Casino, right? When I see their advertisements in Florida, they don't show how much people lose, right? They show the 1 in 100,000 people that hit a crazy jackpot, because that's what they want you to believe. And it's just marketing. And that's just how marketing's been for the longest time. But I just don't want you to get caught up in losing a lot of money, because I see people lose a lot of money from opening up packs and boxes all the time, because it is addictive and it is gambling. The actual effective way to make money, simply put, buying low, selling high. So buying cards in the off season, right? So to give you an example, I just sold a 2023 Bowman Chrome Blue PSA 10 of Spencer Jones. I paid about $1,200 for this card in November when nobody was buying baseball, everybody was buying basketball, and everybody was buying football. And I just sold it for $1,700, right? So I bought it while it was low. January, February hit, the hype starts to build up, right? The market starts to go up because baseball's getting closer. Someone like Spencer Jones has a lot of hype because he's supposed to start for the Yankees this year and his value goes up. And I was able to make some predictable money from it. And also grading cards, right? You could do that same exact concept of buying low in the offseason and then selling it as you get closer to the season, and also buying raw cards to get graded, so you're able to make profit on getting a PSA 10. That is the best pack of cards to buy. In reality, it is, and you should understand the math behind it. I dropped a free PDF down below of exactly what I'm talking about, so you could actually have something on paper. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you folks in the next one.